Jason, it's good to have you. And I mean, how serious are you, or what time frames, I guess, should we say, for this price target that you still retain?
Thanks, Kelly. So our price targets are set on a 12-month basis. I think we should expect continued amounts of volatility as it relates to Coinbase, as it relates to the volume and volatility of trading in various cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin. And as good as things were 6 to 9 months ago, now we've obviously hit a bit of a crypto storm at the moment.
But I guess my question would be, in order to achieve a price target like 185, it's almost like your call has to be predicated on the Fed pumping a couple $1 trillion more back into the economy, right? I mean, what's the springboard to get, or how do we rewind the clock, or how do we kind of achieve a reality where this price target is even possible now?
Well, I think the reality is that if you look at Coinbase, it's a scarce asset. If you are a believer in the long-term future of the digital asset economy, as we are, there's very few ways to play that through single stock exposure. So regardless of what a particular price target might be, in terms of the number, I think you have to look more at the fundamental thesis. And obviously, there's a lot of people who have now gotten very concerned about Coinbase's future and the future of cryptocurrency. We think it's a bit of an overreaction in the stock. But yes, I mean, inherently, as has always been the case since Coinbase went public, you do have very limited visibility in terms of forecasting the revenue and the EBITDA of the company, because upwards of 85% plus of the revenues are driven by retail cryptocurrency trading volume. So that is the reality of the model today. But we see a lot of product extensions ultimately coming down the pike for Coinbase.
Let's say we agree that there's a future for cryptocurrency, as I do. Talk to me a little bit about the competition in this particular area, and what is the moat that Coinbase has that makes it stronger than some of its competitors? I see a lot of ads for companies that want my business in trading crypto, Coinbase among them. What makes Coinbase better than the rest? That's number one. And number two, I guess I can envision a world where Coinbase gets taken out by some bigger player, whether it's a Schwab or a PayPal or whomever.
Lots of competition in the space, you're right, and lots of advertising dollars going into the space as well. We do think that Coinbase's brand and technology and the breadth of cryptos that they offer on their platform are all important differentiators. We often get questions, to your point, around, well, more competition must equate to more pricing pressure in terms of the fees for retail crypto trading. And if you look at Coinbase's numbers this quarter, their retail spreads were actually up about 8 basis points quarter over quarter. So I don't think this is a race to the bottom, certainly anytime soon from a fees perspective. And I do think when people are deciding which exchange or platform to use to trade crypto, they're going to look at brand and trust and security, because they want to make sure they can easily get their money in and out. So it's not just about.
And so you feel Coinbase among you acknowledge that there's a lot of competition here, a lot of names competing, but your view is that Coinbase is the strongest of the competitors. Do I understand you correctly?
You do, and I would say, especially in the U.S., I think that brand stands out.
And then, what about its future? Does it exist 5 years from now as an independent company?
We'll see. It's a fascinating question. I mean, the fintech space more broadly is very fragmented, and obviously there have been huge corrections in valuations, and so it would not be uncommon in an industry where that has happened, where you certainly could see more consolidation among various players.
Yeah. All right, Jason, thanks very much. I know we'll be having you back as we watch this stock and this whole market over the summer. Thanks again.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
You too.